Hello, my name is Rebecca Guile, and this is my presentation for Justice and Ethical Duties of Public Administrators for DPA 720 Ethics and Social Justice. Faith integration. In the biblical view, justice is a state of equity and fairness, integrity and righteousness, peace and wholeness at all levels of society, governments, courts, and marketplace, that protects the right of dignity of all, particularly the most vulnerable. Throughout the Old Testament, we can see our call to do justice is clear. What is justice and equity? In this week's lecture, our professor described an early definition of justice from the Justinian century as the constant and perpetual will to render to each his due. In other words, we as individuals have an obligation to help, to act in order for justice to be done. We are to distinguish justice using a rubric for evaluation for the motives of justice. Justice can be modified to narrow the definition. Scholars have identified 4 primary types of justice: distributive, which determines who gets what; procedural, determines how fairly people are treated; retributive, based on punishment for wrongdoing; and restorative justice, which tries to restore relationships to righteousness. Yet many people's definition of justice is different, which is why it needs to be clear in academics how we are using the term and for what. Now, equity. Many authors indicate social equity is difficult to define. Gooden and Myers define social equity tautologically as fairness or social justice, and explain in terms of distributive justice and diversity. Svara and Brunet explain that fairness, justice, and equitable distribution are viewed as normative cornerstones of equity. An example would be where public administrators' ethical and legal obligation is to ensure that constitutional rights are protected in the quality of existing services delivered to groups and individuals, and that policies and programs have the same impact for all groups and individuals served. Let's jump into some famous theorists regarding justice. First theorist, John Rawls. His theory of justice is a sound theory that says a well-ordered society needs a concept of justice as a basic requirement. Such as concept could be developed by rational individuals behind a veil of ignorance about their own position. The veil of ignorance. In his most important moral constraint, Rawls refers to it as the original position. He suggests we should imagine we sit behind a veil of ignorance that keeps us from knowing who we are and identifying with our personal circumstances. By being ignorant of our circumstances, we can objectively consider how societies should operate. The veil of ignorance in place is to choose a social construct, to construct a society as if once the veil is lifted, it is possible that one would be amongst the least well-off in society. It was designed for moral reasoning to promote imperial decision-making by denying decision-makers access to potentially biasing information that it would involve, primarily equal right to basic liberties for all, and secondly, that social and economic inequalities should derive from equal opportunities and in the end should benefit the least advantage. The second theorist I selected, Robert Nozick. He wrote a response to Rawls' 1971 A Theory of Justice. Robert Nozick wrote the book Anarchy, State, and Utopia in 1975 as a classic modern defense of libertarian political philosophy. The main purpose of Anarchy, State, and Utopia is to show that the minimal state, and only the minimal state, is morally justified. By minimal state, Nozick means a state that functions essentially as a night watch, with powers limited to those necessary to protect citizens against the violence, theft, and fraud. Nozick believed rights that individuals have are natural, of fundamental importance, and completely and universally and unequivocally sacred. He argues these rights must be respected at all costs. Unlike Rawls, these aren't designed by institutions or dreamed up by revolutionaries, written into contracts and protected by lawyers. They are part of being human. Nozick, in general, argues that people are born with fundamental individual rights. These individual rights are paramount, and that there is no need for a system to achieve moral equilibrium, and he rejects all end result theories, for example, distributive theories such as Rawls' theory of justice. But both Rawls and Nozick provide little justification for their foundation. The choice between the contractarian position of rules and the natural rights position of Nozick are made on intuition, which leaves both of them to harsh criticism. Now, we're going to talk about my lens. How do I define justice? Prior to this week's reading material and videos, I viewed justice as to do what is right, not fair, because a fair thing to do might not always be the right thing to do. But then I realized, after this week's reading material and videos, rightfulness is relative to individuals' morality and independent of societal predilections. Right means more as in right or wrong, and is moral or ethical subtext. As our professor stated, people view justice from different perspectives. My definition of justice is not the same as others, and I had to remind myself that. After reading Tim Keller's A Biblical Critique of Secular Justice and Critical Theory, I feel that I fall between libertarian and liberal on the spectrum, as you can see the image. I am a very passionate person about freedom with minimum government involved, which is why I lean towards libertarian. According to Keller, people have the right to not be harmed, an absolute right to private property, if fairly earned, and the right of free speech and free association. But the downfall to this is it lacks community, which as a Christian myself, I know we are called to work as a community, to love your brother and your sister. You are the community. So that is why I cannot fully say I am on the libertarian side. And the thing about the liberalism is, according to Keller, it only works in a society where religion is strong, as it helps offset the selfishness and individualism fosters, and it could provide the sense of solidarity and community that individualism cannot give. But religion is in sharp decline. Therefore, the balance will not be there. How is justice and equity used in ethical performance for public administration duties? I found a great example with ASPA, which is the American Society for Public Administration. They have a code of ethics. It is designed to represent key principles that public servants should advance, and its educational review activities support the ethical behavior of members and hold them accountable for adhering to these principles. They are committed to high standards of ethical practice by public service. How should public administrators approach issues of justice and equity? Public administrators, including all personnel involved in public governance, must seek to prevent and reduce inequality, unfairness, and injustice based on significant social characteristics. They are sworn to promote greater equality in access to services, procedural fairness, quality of services, and social outcome. An example of this would be the National Academy of Public Administration, also known as NAPA. What is the National Academy of Public Administration? The National Academy of Public Administration is an independent nonprofit, nonpartisan organization that was established in 1967 and chartered by Congress in 1984. The Academy provides expert advice to government leaders in building and managing more effective, efficient, equitable, accountable, and transparent organizations. There are 4 main criteria through which NAPA measures the level of social equity in public administration. These are distributional equity, outcome disparities, procedural fairness, and process equity. They actually created a strategic plan for 2022 to 2027. It was created for the Academy to strengthen their organization for the future. Their core values are set to improve technology, develop meaningful approaches to fellow engagement, build financial positions, advance the theory and practice of public administration, and foster equity across all levels. I have attached the link here at the bottom. You can, if you click on it or copy and paste it, it takes you to the PDF that they have uploaded, and they have their core values and their missions and their goals and every single goal they want to hit by 2027. In conclusion, there are many different perspectives and different ideas of pursuing social justice. Again, many people have their own lens and own influences. Therefore, it is important, very important, to define justice using academic work, because I can talk about justice from my perspective, but the other person can have a complete different understanding and definition of what justice is. Overall, social justice is an idea where everyone deserves equality. Those who serve the public are responsible for treating individuals equally. Here are my references, and thank you for your time in listening to my video about justice. Thank you.